My name is Heather Rodriguez. I'm a natural fertility specialist. My team and I help couples who are preparing for conception to overcome fertility issues, prepare for medical fertility treatments, and prepare for a healthier pregnancy. We'll go ahead and jump on and we'll get started with today's scope. So I've got three different kind of topics I'm going to cover, three different questions that were sent in. One is going to be about trying to conceive during a cold and while you have a cold and while you're sick. Isn't that funny? And then the second is going to be about pain during fertility massage, and the third is going to be about the vegan diet or a fertility diet as a vegan. So we'll jump into the first question, and what I do for Q&As is I read the question and then I'll kind of cover the topic. So this question was, I've been very sick with a very bad cold. There's a variety of herbs and supplements I'm taking for my fertility. Good morning, thank you. She lists all of them. And then her question is, she also wants to take supplements for her cold. Is it better for her to take the additional herbs on top of what she's doing, or can she stop the fertility herbs while she's sick and do the immune system herbs? That was a really good question. I mean, you know, there's all kinds of things that interrupt our plans, obviously, a cold being one of them. So if you're getting a cold when you're trying to conceive, good morning, Nazar. If you get a cold when you're trying to conceive and you're doing a whole protocol, you're taking a lot of different supplements, and then you're sick, you catch a cold or whatever it is, and you need to take your immune system herbs, it's okay to pause for a couple of days. That's perfectly fine. It's not going to derail you. It's not going to mess up your entire program. That would be fine. You don't want to necessarily go off of them longer than a week. The case that would be different, though, is, hey, Daphne, the case where it's different is going to be with something that you're using for hormonal health. So the superfoods, multivitamin, things like that, you can take a break on, but I personally wouldn't stop taking Vitex or obviously progesterone cream if you're doing it for hormonal balance, or maca, anything you're using specifically for hormonal balance, because you don't want to derail that. But everything else you can put a pause on, because if you're having to take, garlic and probiotics and other herbs for helping with your cold, then I understand not wanting to take so many things. Definitely understand that. The next question that we received was, this is actually from her husband. He sent in this email. Hi, my lady was practicing the stomach massage around the pelvic region, and she experienced some pains at the two sides of the pelvis. I just want to know if this is normal. So we get this question a lot where people are asking, I'm doing self-fertility massage and I'm starting to feel sore, I feel a little bit of pain. So there's two things that to think about with that. The first is going to be, you might be doing the massage too deep. The second thing is, you can ask your Vitex question. Today I'm doing a Q&A. The second thing is that it might be on a specific area that you are feeling the pain when you're doing the massage, and that might just be an area that's very sensitive. There might be scar tissue there. So you just go gentler. It's not, so many people with massage think harder the better, the deeper the better, and it's not like that. You can go lighter and you're going to get the benefits from it. So it should not hurt. But some people do feel achy and a little bit sore when they first start it, because that area is not used to getting massage. Blood is flowing, things are moving. So achy and sore is fine, but pain is not. Don't do it so deep. Third question is, hi, I'm vegan and I eat about 80% raw. I'm wanting to prepare for pregnancy. What are the most important tips for a vegan raw foodist when doing the fertility diet? What is the difference between fertility diet and a vegan or raw diet? So there's a couple of different questions there. So the first thing, what is the difference between a fertility diet and a vegan or raw diet? Well, there's a lot. A fertility diet is specific to the period of time right before you're going to get pregnant. It's in preparation. It's designed to help build up your nutrient stores. You need so many nutrients when you're producing a child. I mean, they're just going to suck it right out of you. So it's good to prepare ahead of time and to build up your nutrient stores. So it's very different than a raw or a vegan diet, because generally the fertility diet includes meat, it includes dairy, other animal products. It is high in raw foods, but it's not an extreme diet, because at that time we're building up the stores. But I do have to say, you can definitely eat a fertility diet that is vegan or that is vegetarian. I do know some people who have eaten raw in preparation for their pregnancy. They were raw foodists before that for many, many years, and that's worked for them. But I personally wouldn't recommend going raw to prepare for pregnancy. Eating more raw foods, awesome. There is definitely nothing wrong with that. The reason I say that is that in preparation, there's a couple of things that you want to make sure to have, and you can apply this to any type of diet that you're on. You want to make sure you're eating foods high in folate. So foods that are high in folate are going to be leafy green vegetables. My favorite happens to be Swiss chard, but dark leafy vegetables have a lot of folate in them. The other thing is going to be to make sure that you're getting all your B vitamins, including B12. So as a vegan, there are no vegan sources of B12. They only come from animal sources. Yes, there's B12 in spirulina, but it's been shown it's not as absorbable. So taking a B12 supplement is going to be necessary. Another thing to consider is getting enough protein. I'm sure you're sick of hearing that. Any of you guys who are vegetarian or vegan, you can totally get enough protein on those diets, but you have to pay attention. And the last with it is don't eat too much soy unless you are estrogen deficient, and most people aren't. They tend to be more estrogen excess. So when you're vegan, a lot of times the protein sources will be from tofu, tempeh, maybe soy shakes, things like that, soy milk. So diversify your protein sources. Do a variety of beans, not just soybeans. Lentils are going to be fantastic. Really actually paying attention to where your protein sources are coming from. And I know that's probably annoying to hear because so many people are like to vegans, where do you get your protein from? Or vegetarians, where do you get your protein from? Make sure, but just do pay attention to it because it's important for uterine lining. It's important for healthy growth of your child. And also you've got all the vitamins and minerals if you're eating a whole food diet. Just because someone's eating vegetarian, vegan, raw, or any diet doesn't mean that it's a healthy diet. It depends on what they're eating. You can eat a junk food vegetarian diet. You can eat a junk food regular diet. You can eat a junk food vegetarian diet. Very easy to do. So if you're eating a whole food based diet, that's more the focus is the whole foods, organic preferably, lots of beans, lots of vegetables, fruits, lots of foods with fiber in them. That's more important, more so than it has to fit into any type of label, it being vegan, you can do it on all of those. I do think though it is much easier to do as a vegetarian than a vegan. I know that vegans, that's more of a moral thing. It's more of something from the heart than necessarily a health choice. But eggs are so fantastic if you can get eggs in, especially during pregnancy. So that's my gist on fertility diets and how to make it work for your dietary preferences. You can totally make it work. Personally, I wouldn't suggest raw just because it's really, really hard to do unless you've got the hang of it many years beforehand. It's very hard to do. So it's a lot easier to do when you have a lot more variety and choices to choose from. So I'm going to stay on here for a little bit and see if you guys have any questions. Today is Q&A day. I know someone had something about Vitex. Can essential oils used with castor pack over liver after egg retrieval? Drugs to help detox. Okay, so you just had egg retrieval and the eggs are now being fertilized and you're waiting to go back for your transfer. So let me know that because that's going to change. If you're going to go back for a transfer here in a couple days. Okay, so transfers already happened. I would not use any essential oils during this time or castor oil packs. I would not be doing any of that. So you just had egg retrieval. You're going 5 months transfer. You had egg retrieval and your transfer is going to be happening in 5 months. Just trying to get, because the timing matters. So you just had egg retrieval. Okay, egg retrieval and your transfer is happening in 5 months. Got it. Okay, so yes. So egg retrieval, for some people it goes really, really smooth. For some people it can make them very, very sore. So essential oils to help with that. I would think something to help with inflammation and something very soothing. I would start very mellow and I would actually go to like chamomile or lavender. I would go to very simple, gentle herbs. Ginger is another one, but that might be too stimulating. So I would do something like chamomile or lavender because those have anti-inflammatory, they're analgesic, which means they help with minor pain. They're very calming. I would dilute those. Castor oil, I don't know if castor oil is necessarily the first oil I would use. I wouldn't focus so much on detoxing right after transfer. If it's been a couple weeks or a month, then you can act normal. You can do detoxifying things, but if it's directly afterwards, you're probably still very sore. I wouldn't want to stimulate too much circulation at that time. Castor oil pack not over liver. Yeah, you could do it over liver. That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, I missed that. I got the second part. Were you talking about Vitex? Is it not okay to wash castor oil after castor oil? Not to wash. Are you talking about the cloth and the pack that you are making the castor oil pack with? So when you make castor oil pack, you're putting the oil on a piece of flannel. Yeah, you can wash the castor oil off your tummy. Yes, it's very sticky and it will stain your clothes. So I would definitely wash the castor oil off of your stomach. The benefit is going to be from while you're doing the treatment, the heat pack. It does not have to stay on your skin to be beneficial. Explain how Vitex can be good for PCOS. So Vitex, okay, so this is kind of a, I need a drink of tea. So this is kind of, we're going to be a little story. So the way Vitex works for PCOS is Vitex has a specific action on the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is responsible for helping to produce more progesterone and helping to cause a trigger of hormonal events in the cycle. So for PCOS, Vitex is helpful. It's not the end all though. It's not like, okay, you just use, oh, that's hilarious. Oh my God, that's hilarious. So Vitex isn't the end all for PCOS, just so you know. It's not like, oh, just here, just take this one thing. But how it's going to help and be part of the bigger picture is it's going to help the body with hormonal balance, and it's going to help to produce more progesterone. Generally, with PCOS, you're going to find that there's more estrogen and there's more testosterone. So helping to bring up the progesterone is going to help balance those out. It also is going to help to support ovulation, but that's not always the issue with PCOS, right? Like people are preparing to ovulate, but then the pop doesn't happen due to hormonal imbalances. So it's one herb that I would look at, but I would look at more combination of herbs that are going to help to address insulin resistance, that are going to help the body to get rid of excess estrogen. So there's a lot of different pieces to it. Vitex is one herb I would use in combination with some other herbs. So it helps with hormonal balance and progesterone production. I started Vitex and now I've had no ovulation signs for 2 months. Is that normal? You know, generally actually is not normal. What we do find of like effects on the body from Vitex is there might be some spotting or the cycle length might change, but not ovulating is generally not something that happens with it. So I would it'd be good to look at what other factors might be causing lack of ovulation. Are you getting enough iron? Are your other hormones in balance? What other things are you taking? Are you under a lot of stress? It's generally not something that happens. Can men drink conception tea? You know, they could, it's not going to hurt them, but it's not specific for them. It's very specific for the uterus. It's very specific for female hormonal health. So no, not really. I mean, it wouldn't hurt them. There are some things that are beneficial, like Damiana would be beneficial for them. Red raspberry leaf, sure, it'll be beneficial. You know, it's not herbs for men. It's herbs for women, for female hormonal balance. Should you stop the Vitex? You know, I think the best thing to do is to email us, because there would be a lot more questions that we need to ask you. How you're using the Vitex, other things that you're taking, what your diet's like. So email us at naturalfertilityshop.com and click contact us, because there's more things we would need to know in order to help you with that, because it's not black and white. It's not like, oh, yes, Vitex, no Vitex. You know, we're all complex, amazing human beings. Thinking of adding it to kombucha and didn't want to hurt my husband's hormones. Oh, you're thinking of making kombucha with conception tea? Yeah, I wouldn't no. I mean, if he accidentally drank it, not a big deal, but I wouldn't purposefully have him drink it. Yeah. What could you put in the kombucha? Goji berries would be fantastic for him. Make goji berry kombucha, and that would actually be very specifically beneficial for him. Goji berries are fantastic for sperm health. Period became regular for a few months after taking Vitex, but then it stopped. So that progesterone might not be the only issue that's happening. So Vitex isn't, did you say your period stopped or your ovulation? I just so I'm clear. And then I missed that next question, if you want to repost that. Your period's up, okay. So there's a couple different reasons a period might not be happening. So there's hormonal, there's nutritional deficient, and there might also be stress component, some mind-body components. So it's helpful to help with the period, but it's not the end-all. Again, Vitex fantastic, but it's not the end-all for everything. So when you're trying to get a period back, there needs to be an increase of circulation. There needs to be overall hormonal balance. But also, if there's nutritional factors at play, then herbs aren't going to do very much. If you're iron deficient and you keep on taking herbs, it's not going to do much. You might want to look into something like retrieval, which is going to contain dong quai. It's going to contain herbs that are very stimulating to the menstrual cycle if you believe it's hormonally based. If it's dietary based, then look at your diet. Are you eating enough iron-rich foods? Are you eating dark leafy green vegetables? Are you eating enough fiber? There's a lot of different factors, so it's hard when someone says, I'm trying to take this for my period, or they'll say, I'm doing the fertility cleanse and I didn't get my period back. What's wrong? Well, one, the fertility cleanse isn't designed to get your period back. That's not what it's for. Or for instance, Vitex. That's one benefit that will come from it, but that's not the herb's overall like purpose or what you would use it for. You want to use things that are a little bit more stimulating, and there's more pieces to the puzzle to think about when you're trying to get your cycle back. So that might have helped helped with a little bit of the hormonal balance, but there might be a bigger picture that you have to look at. About 1,000 milligrams a day in the morning. So that'd be with Fertilica, that would be 2 capsules in the morning every single day. Every single day. Why can we not use a Castor pack during menstruation? Castor oil, bleh, I can't talk today. I think it says tea. I'm drinking licorice tea and it's making my mouth sticky. Castor oil packs are very stimulating and they stimulate circulation. So if you have a heavy flow, we don't want to stimulate that. We don't want more blood flow going to the system and stimulating that. So since we're not able to work with every single person one-on-one, not every person does consultations with us and we're educating out there, we generally say don't do castor oil packs during your period. That's a time of rest and a time to let your body do its natural detoxification. We don't want to push that. We want to be gentle during that time. But those who have very scanty flows, which means it's very, very light, like strawberry jam, it's maybe 2 days, there's mostly spotting, castor oil packs may actually be beneficial to help to stimulate and to bring that on. But we're not able to sit with every person who's reading our articles or learning how to do this and say, okay, what color is your period? So just for a safety factor, we found that it's more beneficial to not do castor oil packs during the period because it's such a short time during the month, and do them outside of the cycle for everybody. Like that just being, because I don't see much more benefit to it except if you do have a very light, scanty period, you need to stimulate doing them during your period. So that's why. That's why, for safety. Because if you're flooding, if you're heavy bleeder and you do castor oil packs, it's not good. Are your hormone levels are normal? Can you take Vitex? You're welcome. Why do you want to take Vitex then? So I'm curious. Your hormonal levels are balanced. Are you ovulating? What is your reason for wanting to take Vitex? Is it still possible to conceive with elevated FHS in male? It possibly is, but you'd want to, but you need to focus on ways of balancing that and helping him with his hormonal balance and helping everything. FSH is something that shows up on a test, but there's many steps that happen before this whole hormonal cascade that make that show up. So your body's speaking to you, so it's good to help support the body in normal hormonal function for men as well. It's the same with them as it is with us. Can Vitex and maca interfere with your thyroid medication? I don't believe so. There's a lot of different things about Vitex and maca with thyroid. I don't believe that Vitex can, because its action is on the pituitary gland. It has no hormones in it. It's supportive of the pituitary gland, and then the pituitary gland is functioning better, and that's where we actually are getting the benefits, not from there's no progesterone in Vitex. When it comes to maca, if you look up, I forgot what it's called, but there's a list in the FDA where it shows things that each herb has been studied for and that you can claim on a label to say it's for. And the thing it says for maca is for thyroid health. So I covered this in another scope because some people are concerned about maca and possibly it having some iodine. That's the darker root macas, which we actually don't carry, but there's like a red maca, black maca, and those might be higher in iodine. So that's a concern for people who have Hashimoto's or immune-based hypothyroidism, but there's a lot of different types. If you just have regular hypothyroidism, really not an issue. I actually think it's beneficial and helpful, but you need to look at your numbers. You need to see how it makes you feel. And if it is an immune-based one, then you want to make sure that you're taking a lighter maca root that is not going to have high amounts of iodine in it. So there you go. Maca Thyroid 101. Or actually, that's a little bit more complex than one. You're welcome. Unexplained infertility, ovulating, but ultrasound doesn't show rupturing a follicle. How do you support that? Okay, so how do you support what? I'm sorry. It's hard to keep the threads. So for the follicles that are not rupturing, how do you support that? Email us because there's questions we need to ask. We would need to know more information, specific information to help with that. That answer is not, I know I keep on saying this today, but that answer is not going to be like, oh, eat more oranges, or, it's not going to be a simple one-step answer. So how to help with male hormonal balance. Okay, thank you. So email us at for the ovulation question, email us at naturalfertilityshop.com, click contact us. Yes, and you can also definitely book a consultation with us. They are amazing. Helping male hormonal balance. I have a video up on YouTube that is a whole in-depth video. Go to youtube.com/HETHIR, and it's about helping to support male hormonal health. But one place to get started is with men. Men also have as many hormonal issues as women have. They're just different. So they don't manifest themselves as much as ours does, or in the same way that ours does. Like, we might break out, we might be very emotional, whereas theirs are going to be, they're going to show more in their physical body. So for instance, the bigger belly in men might be due to more estrogen. Estrogen causes us to carry more belly fat. So for men, when they have too much estrogen, their testosterone levels need to be in a specific ratio balance with all of the different hormones. So hormonal balance isn't necessarily that every hormone is like this. It's that they're in the correct ratio to each other. That's needed for proper function during that whatever period of the month it is. For women, we have more of a monthly cycle than men. It's more dramatic. So for men, there's a couple different things to look into. One is supporting the endocrine system. Herbs that are great for supporting the endocrine system are going to be American ginseng. Maca is another great one. Tribulus is another great one. So those 3 herbs are some of my favorite for male hormonal balance. Something else to consider is we're starting to do more research on this. We saw a talk on this. I think Vitex, side note, I think Vitex is great for PMS. There's some other herbs that are good too, but that is one aspect. Look at the liver as well. So for male fertility, you want to look at supporting the liver, like I just said, for the PMS. The liver plays a huge part in hormonal balance because it gets rid of excess hormones. It gets rid of excess estrogens. That's one of its purposes, is to get rid of hormones, all kinds, not just like our stress hormones, everything, to help metabolize those and get them out of our system. So that needs to be supported in men as well. I would stop drinking beer. The reason is hops, beer made from hops. Hops is a very highly estrogenic herb, which is great. But when you have possibly too much estrogen in your system, that's going to affect your hormonal levels as well. So cutting out the beer, cleansing, liver cleansing. We have a male fertility cleanse that's fantastic. Partners do those together, the fertility cleanse and the male fertility cleanse. And then I would look at diet. So it's like a trifecta approach. It's not going to be just something you can slip into his dinner. But it is, because diet's going to make a big difference. More fiber, using herbs. MH5 is fantastic. That's the herbal blend I formulated for male sperm health and hormonal health. So it's got everything in it. You can just put that in his morning coffee and you're ready to go. He said he's not cutting up beer. Try to find, there's beers that can be made without hops. There definitely are. Hops were used to actually in beer production to help to control the bacteria growth in the beer in the old days. So there's a lot of beer that's made without hops. But if you maybe find some articles and you can kind of explain to him what hops, the estrogenic compounds of hops, you might be motivated to maybe try a different type. So that's it. Still in the fertility cleanse phase 2, says to take until menses. What if I run out by then? Then you're fine. Then your cleanse is done. Everyone's cycle is so different. It's more, the purpose of that is that we don't want you on the herbs while you're on your period. But if the herbs are done before your period comes, you're fine. You're done. Congratulations. Is Tribulus beneficial for men with normal hormones? Tribulus can be beneficial to help with sperm health. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a hormonal situation. So if there's a needing to increase sperm morphology, mobility, count, then Tribulus can be used for that. It doesn't just have to be because of hormonal imbalances. So Tribulus and Maca are fantastic for that. All right, any other questions before I get going today? Nice to see you guys. Yay, yes, definitely. Fingers crossed. Keep in touch. Let me know what you're doing, how you're feeling, all of that. Safe to do Castor packs and take down quite after ovulation if you're trying to conceive. No, I mean, it's not like dangerous, but what we do is castor oil packs beforehand. Tribulus is going to be used if it's in a blend, it might be fine. It kind of depends what you're using it for and what's going on. Tribulus, Tribbulus. Sorry, I can't spell today. Tribulus terrestris. Tribulus. Spelling is not my forte. Thank you. There you go. There you go. Tribulus. And make sure, so there's a couple different things about herbs that I want to talk about. I'm using Vitex, maca, inositol, and berberine for supporting PCOS. Cool. Cool. And diet, I hope. I hope diet's a major part of that. Okay, so one thing about herbs before we go that I forgot to talk about before that's important is it does make a difference where you get your herbs from, and quality of herbs makes a huge difference. So one of the things, fertility diet and exercise, fantastic. Yes, that's good. And how long have you been on that? And then have you seen any changes? Because you can, after about 3 months, you want to take a look at your program. What changes am I seeing? And then you can adjust it. So when it comes to herb quality, there's a couple different things to think about. Weight, yeah, but weight isn't necessarily the factor. It's going to be more how your body is responding. Yeah, so it's not necessarily that, you can still have the same amount of weight on, but your body can be reacting differently. Your insulin levels can be balanced. So that's more what you're looking for. Maybe your charting ends up changing. Definitely chart, that'll tell you a lot. So back to herbs real quick, and then I'll hop off here. I just want to let you guys know how important it is to make sure that you're getting herbs from a quality source. There was a conversation happening on Facebook the other day where people were discussing different places that they're getting herbs and how they're like, oh my gosh, this herb is so cheap over here. I can get this herb for $4 and on Amazon. And so it's so important to understand the different types of companies that are making herbs and the different types of quality. So there's companies that are growing herbs in various countries. Some of them are being wildcrafted, some of them are being grown on farms, and there's a process you're supposed to go through when you're GMP certified. So that means that you're checking and identifying the herb in every single part of the process. This is really important because in the past, companies would be tested for their herbs, and what was was on the bottle was not in the bottle. They had misidentified the herb before they had gone into production. So it's super important to find reputable companies when you're taking herbs. Super, super important. People think that the herb industry or the supplement industry is not regulated. It is very regulated if you're buying from the right companies, because those companies are following all the rules. So what I've noticed in the last year or two, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but with Amazon, there's all these mysterious companies popping up. And it's very, very, be cautious. Find companies that you know that are reputable, that you can contact them and you can talk to the people, you can find out where their herbs from, how they're producing their product. Because anyone can go on Amazon and sell herbs, and they can sell them for very cheap, but there's no guarantee that what's in there is actually the herb unless they're a GMP certified company, they're keeping records, they have lot numbers, all these things. I won't bore you with all the details, but just be cautious of where you're ordering from. Know that when you're ordering from us, when you're buying fertility products, the products, if any of them are extracts, they're handcrafted. Most of those herbs are actually grown on a farm in Wyoming by hand harvested organically, and handcrafted into the product. So it does make a difference in quality for effectiveness. So that's another thing, when someone asks, oh, this Vitex isn't working or this or that's happening, we want to know how you're using it, what's your source for the product. We find that makes a big difference in effect and quality. So that's my soapbox, but I just want to let you guys know that because I think a lot of people don't understand how different companies can be with their quality and with the effects you're going to get from the products. So I thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again tomorrow. That's the plan, and have a great day.